Calisto 5 and Calisto 9 parts replacement. Replacing the Calisto door. In this video, we will show you how to replace the door of a Calisto C500 or C900.
Doors need to be replaced when the seal is defective or when the unit's display is defective.
To replace a door, you will need the following tools: a 3/8" flat screwdriver, a Phillips No. 1 screwdriver, a Phillips No. 2 screwdriver, a 5/16" nut driver, a torque wrench 34-pound force inch with 1/4" and 7/16" open-end size, a 1/4" open-end wrench, a 7/16" open-end wrench, a 9/16" open-end wrench, adhesive thread locker, Loctite 242, snoop or similar leak check fluid, general use grease. Turn off the Calisto and the breaker supplying power to the monitor. Removing the calibration gas cylinder. Open the Calisto door. Close the shutoff valve on the calibration gas cylinder until a moderate resistance is encountered. Turn the module control valve knob to the vent position. Disconnect the fitting from the gas cylinder using a 5/16" crescent wrench and a 9/16" counter wrench on the fitting body to turn the nut counterclockwise. Remove the tube from the cylinder fitting by pulling on the nut. If you are to reuse the same cylinder, immediately install a 1/16" male cap on the cylinder to prevent contamination. Screw finger tight only. Using a 1/4" wrench and a 7/16" counter wrench, remove the 1/16" OD calibration gas tube from the door fitting. Immediately install the supplied 1/16" male plug on the fitting body to prevent contamination. Screw finger tight only. Using a Phillips No. 2 screwdriver, loosen the 2 screws of the cylinder retainer. Loosen the 2 Phillips screws on either side of the shutoff valve and remove the calibration gas cylinder. Removing the calibration gas module. Disconnect the calibration gas module pressure sensor cable. Using the Phillips No. 2 screwdriver, remove the 6 screws that are holding the module. Hold the module with one hand while removing the last screws to prevent it from falling. Remove the calibration gas tube under the gas cylinder retainer. The module can now be retrieved. Install finger-tight the 1/16 Vichy style and the 1/16 Swagelok style caps into each tube at the end of the module. Removing the door. Disconnect the display cable. Remove the 2 screws on the bracket using a Phillips No. 1 screwdriver and set the bracket aside. Remove the door ground link using a 5/16" nut driver. Keep the lock washer and the nut. Remove the door by carefully pulling it upwards. Installing the door. Take the new door and, if needed, use a lubricant on the latch pins. Install the door by aligning both door pins on the enclosure hinges. Reinstall the door ground link using a 5/16" nut driver using the lock washer and the nut from the old door. Reinstall the bracket with the 2 screws using a Phillips No. 1 screwdriver. Reconnect the display cable. Installing the calibration gas module. Apply thread locker on the 6 threaded holes on the door. Install the new calibration gas module by partially tightening the 6 screws using a Phillips No. 2 screwdriver. Place the calibration tube under the cylinder retainer. Be careful not to pinch the tube between the retainer and the door. Connect the new calibration gas module pressure sensor cable on the connector located in the middle of the panel. Finger tighten the tube nut to the reducing fitting of the door. Swage the 1/16" calibration gas tube onto the tube fitting by using one of the two following methods. The recommended method is to use a 1/4" open-end torque wrench set at 34 pound-force per inch. If there is no torque wrench available, the alternative tightening method is to perform a finger tight on the screw first and do a 1/4 turn more with a 1/4" open-end wrench. Complete screwing the 6 screws, holding the calibration gas module in place on the door. Power up the Calisto. Once the display menu is illuminated, navigate to the Maintenance menu and select the option for Change Calibration Gas Cylinder. Read the on-screen information and press Next. Select Next to begin the procedure. Since we have already completed the first steps of this procedure, you can skip steps 6 through 10. Installing the calibration gas cylinder. Install the cylinder by inserting the bottom of it into the retainer first, then turning the 2 captive screws by hand and tightening using a Phillips No. 2 screwdriver. Adjust the cylinder retainer so that it holds the cylinder bottom properly. Then tighten the 2 screws using a Phillips No. 2 screwdriver. Remove the plug from the tube and the cap from the cylinder. Finger tighten the tube nut to the calibration gas cylinder fitting. Use a 5/16" open-end wrench and a 9/16" counter wrench to tighten the cylinder fitting by 3/8 of a turn. Slightly open the cylinder shutoff valve, then close it as quickly as possible to pressurize the system. Use a helium detector or leak detection fluid to ensure that the connections are leak tight. If a leak is detected, tighten the nut 1/16 to 1/8 of a turn. When everything is leak tight, turn the valve to the vent position. Open the calibration gas shutoff valve 1/4 of a turn and reclose as quickly as possible. Wait 5 seconds for the gas to escape. Repeat the previous step a second time, then turn the vent valve to run. Open the calibration gas shutoff valve about 1 full turn. Verify that the calibration gas pressure is at least 800 psi. If not, contact Morgan Schaffer. Use Snoop or helium detector to check that the cylinder connection is leak tight. Close the Calisto door. Fully tighten the door latches to prevent water ingress. Acknowledge that all the previous steps have been completed in sequence by pressing Next. Remember to enter the new calibration gas numbers using Calisto Manager. Note that this step will be explained in the configuration video. The calibration gas cylinder change is now complete. The unit will automatically resume operation in about 1 hour. Checking for gas leaks.
After installing or changing a carrier or calibration gas cylinder, it is advisable to check for gas leaks. Gas leaks can shorten cylinder lifespan and compromise measurement performance. Please remember that accurate DGA data coming from a Calisto means that the transformer condition assessment can be made with confidence. Please follow closely these instructions to avoid compromising measurement performance.
If a leak-checking fluid such as Snoop or Cal Blue is available, it is recommended to check the accessible fittings, particularly those that have been connected in the field. A portable helium leak detector may alternatively be used to sniff for leaks around the fittings on a wind-still day. If a leak is detected, tighten the leaking fitting by 1/16 to 1/8 of a turn. If the leak persists, contact Morgan Schaefer. Small leaks of calibration gas may be detected by watching for any of the following pressure loss error conditions that are based on readings from the calibration gas pressure sensor: abnormal pressure drop in 1 hour, abnormal pressure drop in 12 hours, small leak, abnormal pressure loss over several weeks of operation. It is recommended to watch for these errors soon after installing or changing the calibration gas cylinder and to contact Morgan Schaefer for assistance if they appear. Some care should be taken in interpreting the pressure drop errors as leaks, since they could be caused by a decrease in temperature of the calibration gas cylinder if the door is open. To be sure, close the door and wait to see if the error condition clears. Recommended wait times are 2-hour wait for the 1-hour drop error, 13-hour wait for the 12-hour drop error. This concludes the instructions for the replacement of the calibration gas module for Calisto models C500 and C900.
Please remember to follow these instructions carefully and contact us if you have any questions. Calisto can be virtually maintenance-free when properly installed. If you have any questions about this procedure, please feel free to ask for our help. Morgan Schaefer offers worldwide service and technical support. We are here to help you.
For detailed information, please refer to the Calisto 5 and Calisto 9 installation and operation manual, or contact Morgan Schaefer's Technical Support Department. This video was produced by Morgan Schaefer, a Doble engineering company, subsidiary of ESCO Technologies.